It's the 9th day that this Israel-Hamas war had started, and after the deadline, about 4 lakh civilians in Gaza are being told to flee towards southern Gaza in search of refuge because there could be an imminent airstrikes and a ground attack too by Israel. Israel's military has said that Hamas is putting up roadblocks. They do not want the civilians to leave to safer areas because they can use these civilians as human shields to avoid the attack by Israel. A ground assault appears imminent. Israel Defense Forces are mobilizing tanks and artillery near the border, and the intense bombardment on the densely populated enclave too appears. This could be a prelude to the ground attack. Israeli tanks were seen on the border with Lebanon as the military remained on high alert. Israel has said that it struck terror targets only that are trying to infiltrate Israel from Lebanon, which is the northern Israel area. So that's another border that Israel is involved right now in.
Ladies and gentlemen, all warrior sailors, we are officially on deployment.
You're looking at the United States that has ordered a second aircraft carrier strike group to the eastern Mediterranean Sea near Israel to deter Hezbollah, which is backed by Iran, based in Lebanon, from joining the Israel-Hamas conflict.
This is the way, Captain O.
Hamas has both issued warnings to their civilians not to evacuate, and when people didn't listen to those warnings of Hamas, they have actually stopped civilians and they have stopped convoys of Gazan civilians trying to flee from the situation and listening to our warnings, knowing that they are much better off south of the Gaza River than staying in the northern part. There's a picture here on this side where you can see an aerial footage of two vehicles, these two vehicles here. That's a zoom in, and this is the same two vehicles, and you can see the line of civilian vehicles trying to go from north to south, being blocked by two other vehicles.
Remember, amid some of the videos that the Hamas extremists are now releasing one by one, including, remember, them keeping infant and toddlers hostages, IDF has now exposed one of these Hamas propaganda videos that claims that Israel is targeting civilians in Gaza. IDF spokesperson shows a video to nail that claim. Here's what he had to say. Why is Hamas saying civilians are being targeted, and why is Israel saying that's not true?
Major, first of all, you have given a 3-hour window. You have asked the people that there will be no action taken from about 10 a.m. till about 1 p.m. Do you believe this 3-hour window is enough?
Well, we have asked the people in the northern part of the Gaza Strip since 2 days already, 48 hours if you want to move south. You know, last week when the terrorists infiltrated Israel and butchered 1,300 Israelis, they didn't give a warning of even 1 second.
Major, you are making a point. You are saying that the civilians in Israel were not given any kind of warning, not even 1 second. You, on the other hand, have been given these kind of warnings. But there will be some people, at least, who might not be able to evacuate, who might not be able to move from north to south. What then?
Well, see, the Gaza Strip is not the size of India. It's a relatively small place. People in Israel have evacuated the last couple of days from the south to the center of Israel. So people in the Gaza Strip, which is not as big as Israel, they could move from the north to the southern part. In the end, we are in the middle of a war, not because we started it, but because Hamas infiltrated Israel and slaughtered and murdered 1,300 Israelis, and they have abducted at least 120 Israelis who are right now, while we are speaking, somewhere in the Gaza Strip.
Major, the attacks from Israel's side have been very focused, very precise, and that's exactly what the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, had said, that their retaliation, Israel's retaliation, will be very focused.
We are focusing on thousands of terror infrastructure sites. The problem is that the Hamas, they don't work from military bases. They don't have military bases. You know, in India, you got military bases. In Israel, we got military bases. Very clear spots. In the Gaza Strip, there's not one real military base. They operate, the terrorists, they operate from the civilian from civilian objects in the middle of the heart of the people living there. So the problem is that that's what they do to their own people. They use their own people as shields. And we try everything in our power to make sure that on the one hand, we attack as precisely as possible, not only the terror infrastructure, but also the terrorists themselves who have infiltrated last week into Israel and murdered in a very, very cruel manner at least 1,300 Israelis.